Welcome back to another episode of Dad on Money. I'm Stephen Williams, and I'm a financial advisor, and I own the accounting firm, The Small Business Accountants, and we're here to help you achieve your financial goals and protect your finances as well. Today's episode is for you young adults. As a young adult, you have the entire future ahead of you. What is that future going to look like? Well, it really depends on how you budget for it. So you want to start off on the right foot. First and foremost, wherever you're getting that income from, making sure you're getting the optimal income for whatever you're doing. And if you feel you should be making more, maybe you got to go back to school to get some more education, to get a higher paying job. But first off, that's going to be your first thing in your budget, is that income. Next thing, as always, savings. Why savings? Well, you're going to be saving for probably a house at some point in time, whether it's a condo, a townhouse, duplex, full-on house, acreage, whatever it is, whatever your dream is, a house. Maybe you got to save for a wedding that you're going to have in the future. Maybe you are looking to save for a new vehicle. Maybe you're saving for trips every year. So those are your saving categories. As a young adult, you want to be able to look forward to those things. It's hard today to be able to save, but you will have great enjoyment from those savings when you get to use them. Now, after your savings, once you've figured out all that stuff, now is your expenses. As a young adult, you're out on your own. There's nobody there to fill your fridge and make sure that there's toilet paper on the roll. You got to do all this stuff yourself. So you got to budget for all these expenses. Figure out what that looks like. Take the last couple of months and say, okay, how much have I spent on groceries? What have I spent on eating out? What have I spent on entertainment? What have I spent on, if you're not married yet, what have I spent on dates? All those types of things, including rent and gas and insurance and all that stuff is going to be in your budget. All those things are there that you need to be like, okay, maybe I have to cut back on some of this stuff because I still want to save all this, right? But I don't have enough money for all this other stuff. So maybe it is that you don't have a trip every single year to Mexico or wherever your favorite place is. Maybe it's once every 2 years or every 3 or 5, right? Maybe that's the case because you want to make sure you save for your house first or whatever your goals are. So you really want to look at that, really analyze where you're at and what you want to do. And you know what? If you're with a significant other, you really have to include them in this. Not if you're got a roommate with a buddy or something like that. You don't want to necessarily include them in your budget because you shouldn't be paying for any of their stuff. But you want to make sure that your goals for the future are captured. So remember, income is your top line in your budget. Next one is your saving. Whatever you're saving for, all the different categories, whatever that might be. And then lastly, your expenses. And if you don't have enough money at the end of the month, maybe you got to cut back on your expenses. Not your savings, but your expenses. But if your savings are for future expenses, depending on what it is, maybe you have to readjust some of that too, depending on what your budget looks like. So keep that in mind, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.